everyone, and welcome to the DC vs. Marvel podcast. Every week, we talk about the super successful superhero characters and stories.
Whether you prefer a nice city stroll through Metropolis, going for a swim in Atlantis, or going through the 9 realms of Asgard, this show is for you.
Welcome to DC and Marvel for episode 1 on April 26, 2023.
Alright everyone, we are now going to find out which company has a better cast of superheroes. There is the DC team with
Superman, Batman, and The Flash.
And on the other side, we have the Marvel team with
Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America.
Javin and Harvir are going to choose which companies have a better cast and choose 3 specific heroes to prove their point.
As most of the time, I'm easily going to stick with DC as I believe Flash, Batman, and Superman are just better than all the other Marvel superheroes in general.
Okay, Javier. Good choices, Javier, but I think I'll pick Iron Man, Captain America, and Scarlet Witch.
Alright, great choices now. Moving on into our first segment, Marvel. Welcome to our Marvel segment where we will hear mostly Javin's point of view on news going on in Marvel, or in this case, the best heroes in Marvel.
Thanks, Anant. And now I will start to begin with Captain America. He's always been an inspiring and cool character to me because he has a very cool, amazing backstory and where he got his powers from. And he wanted to join a war, but he couldn't. And when a doctor finally helped him and got his powers and finally stopped the war and did all the amazing things he did. Another hero I love easily is Scarlet Witch because her powers are very strong and somehow very dangerous to overcome. And now my personal favorite is Iron Man because he's very, very smart and has a lot of money that he wastes on a lot of stuff. Before, he used to be a weapon designer and made a lot of weapons for Stark Industries, and I started to watch him more and more because of how cool her suits are. One of my personal favorite suits are the Hulkbuster armor and the Godbuster armor. Those 2 armors are very powerful and can defeat gods or any other celestial beings.
Great takes, Javin, but I think Black Panther is my favorite Marvel hero, by far. Now, it's time to look at the other side of the coin in our second segment, Harvir and his thoughts on DC.
Alright, so Javin, you brought up some solid points, but I'm still sticking with DC. Let me just first begin to explain myself by starting off with the very first comic superhero, Superman. People say that he's an outdated or a boring character, but I generally could not disagree anymore. Superhero is an interesting tale of hope and being kind and gentle to everything around you. People say this is a cliche, but the fact that people still believe that kind and hopeful as outdated shows that we need good Superman stories more than ever. Next up is The Flash. He's basically a more comedic relief kind of character, but still has a bit of serious moments. The villains are funny, and he easily has one of my favorite comic stories of all time, The Flashpoint. They also take his super speed power to its limit by allowing him to time travel, which makes him even more memorable to me. Ending the DC segment off, easily is my favorite hero from the DC universe. It's Batman. I know he's the obvious choice, and he has been getting a bit too much attention, but he has so much going for him. He has the best set of villains and the best sidekicks in superhero history. Gotham City is so unique and has a lot of character to how it looks and how awful it is to live in. And, just his movies are so much fun and have so much personality, and I could go on and on, but I think I've made my point. I'm going to hand it off to you, Anant.
I personally think Marvel clears DC by flying colors, and I just think that's because I've looked at Marvel and seen so many of Marvel's movies in comparison to DC, where I have very little experience. So when I think of superheroes, Black Panther and Thor and all of these characters, they've just always been a big part of my childhood, and I would pick Marvel any day of the week. Next time we look forward to going over the villains of Marvel and DC. That's going to do it from me,
Harvir,
and
Javin.
We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.